Hey guys, I'm making a little tutorial. I don't usually talk when I record, but here's a little YouTube tutorial on how to use BNM and make mods in that. Step 1, you can go to my Discord, SPModding, download the mod template.7z, and then open that in Android Studio. Personally, I use Android Studio Koala, but I don't think it matters too much which one you use. Once you open it, you're going to want to click this, go to App, Source, CPP, and then go to the native lib. And I already put a little bit of stuff here. If you're aiming for Guerrilla Locomotion based games, you got a good start. Otherwise, you can change this. And I'm going to run through the basics really quick. Invoke hook. You're going to only want to use this if you're hooking Unity methods that derive from mono behavior. Stuff like update, awake, start, late update, etc. Stuff that comes from mono behavior. Anything else, you're going to want to use basic hook. But if you're on older BNM, it's just going to be hook. Like I said, I already have two set up here for awake and late update. For the awake here, I put a pretty basic example on how to use HTTP lib to make a little request to a webhook. And if you really don't know what you're doing here, when you're making the SSL client, this is just the little host name. Don't put HTTPS before. And then this, if you don't know what that is, you can go to whatever, go to edit channel, permissions, or not permissions, integrations, create webhook, copy the link, go back to your Android Studio, and then you're just going to want to copy the slashes, and then you can paste that. Obviously that webhook will be deleted by the time this video's out. I don't care. So that's done. That should really work. If you want to change the content, just change this to whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like, hello, opened, mod. Yep. Now I'm going to get into the input side of things. If you want to use like input on your VR controllers, go to SPModding and download xrinput.cpp and xrinput.hpp. Once you've downloaded those, you're going to grab them, Control X, or just cut, and then go here. Now I'm going to put them in include, and then paste. Once you're done with that, you're going to want to include this in your CMake lists, which should just be right here, include/xrinput.cpp. Give this a little refresh, and it's okay if that says errors. It's lying. Hashtag include xrinput.hpp. Include that, and then over here I'll do a little example. BNM log info trigger float, and that's for floats. And xrinput get float feature trigger controller left, and then that should be it. If you want to get into more complicated things, you could, or not complicated, but interacting with Unity, you could do stuff like this, where you could do float trig equal that if trig greater than 0.5. And what I have included in this project is a little thing called BNM Resolve. This was made by my friend Livku. Very awesome. If you open it, you can see that's the GitHub for updates and other stuff. Please support him. He's cool. You can do stuff like game object. Actually, I don't know if I have. Yeah, it's included. Game object, find, and let's say you want to find Gorilla player, and then get transform, set local scale, vector 3, let's say 1.5f for all of it. That's pretty much it. You can do a little more to it. I mean, it's not too complicated. Like that, float scale equal 1.f. And then let's just say do that, scale plus equal 0.01f. And I'll just copy and paste, change this to right. there, and then that'll change the scale. As long as I do 3, 1 times scale. And now the player will scale based on a little scale float here. If you want to create stuff, it's pretty much the same. Create primitive type, and then whatever. Then just make that game object. And voila. Now, if you want to build the mod, you're going to go to these 3 little dots, go to build, and make project. I'm going to give that a moment to build here. Oops, I made a little mistake here. Include util XR input. That is wrong. It's supposed to be, or it might just be that. Yep, fixed. Now that it's finished, I'm going to open up my file explorer, go to the project, app, build, intermediates. I'm going to go to stripped native libs, debug, stripped out, lib. Okay. Then you're going to want to select your architecture. The x86s are pretty useless. They're not really used. What you're going to want to look at is ARM64 V8A for the most part, but some older games may use ARM80. Some older games may use this. You're going to want to go here, and then you're going to see libmodtemplate.so. That is your little compiled mod. I'll post a little tutorial later how to add that to an APK, but that's the basics on how you're going to build. And if you want to change it from libmodtemplate.so to whatever you want, you're going to scroll to the top here, change this to like, I don't know, tough mod. Recompile it. And as you can see, it has changed. It's pretty straightforward. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to me and like the video. And don't make fun of my bad code. If you guys want, wait, let me think. If you guys want a tutorial how to make an off by